we doing today? Today we are doing something very, very easy. If you remember very well, in our last week's class, Friday's class, we introduced a subtopic known as techniques of forecasting forward exchange rates. How do we get to forecast forward exchange rates here? We did discuss with you two methods. Number one, we discussed what we call discounts and premiums. That whenever you are given a discount shall be added back at this model. A discount shall be added back to the spot rate. Whenever you're told that the spot rate is given at a premium, then the premium shall always be subtracted. From there, we went ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and looked at something very, very important, a very, very important area of forecasting this forward exchange rate known as interest rate parity. Interest rate parity. So today, we are looking at the third model known as purchasing power parity model. Purchasing power parity model, known as purchasing power parity model. This is number 3, remember. Number three, purchasing power parity model. Purchasing power parity model for predicting forward exchange rates, 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 for predicting forward exchange rates. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember purchasing power has everything to do with what here? Inflation. So whenever you hear purchasing power, always remember that purchasing power is a function of inflation. It is a function of inflation. It is a function of inflation. And then how do we get to predict our forward exchange rate using this? So forward exchange rate will be equal to the spot exchange rate into 1 plus inflation of country B. Inflation of country B into 1 plus inflation of country C, like that. So remember, this F is what we want to predict, the forward exchange rate. This is the forward exchange rate, and S is the spot exchange rate, the spot exchange rate. Spot means today's rate. Forward is future. Forward is an exchange rate in the future. Let me know once you ninjas are able to write up to here. Once you guys are able to write up to here, can you kindly give me a signal? All right, done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So remember, here we have inflation of country B. We have inflation of country what here? C. I'll be able to explain what this country B and the C stand for, what they stand for. So then with your permission, I should be able to rub this abracadabra. All right, so this is going to be a very interesting session. The most interesting session. Everybody will be able to understand everything being taught today. All right, so example. So we have a situation here where the spot has been given to us, 120 Kenya shillings per dollar. 120 Kenya shillings per dollar. That is spot. So in this case here, they have given us interest rates. So we have interest rates in Kenya. Interest rate in Kenya, 18%. Not interest rate, but inflation. Sorry for that. Inflation rates. Here we are looking at the purchasing power. Inflation rates here. Inflation rates. So Kenya is 18% per annum. And then we have USA. USA is 10% per annum. So we are required to determine number one, 1 year's forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate, like that. Forward exchange rate. 1 year's forward exchange rate. And then number two, they want us to give them 3 months forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate. Of course, in this case, they will not tell you the model to use. They will not tell you the model to use. It is us to know that, ladies and gentlemen, that whenever you see inflation rate, we are going to use purchasing power. We're going to use purchasing power. We're going to use purchasing power model. We're going to use purchasing power model. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this question, we have 2 countries. Which countries are involved? You can see we have Kenya shilling. So Kenya is here. Kenya is here. Maya has already been able to get the solution here. Kenya is here. And you can see in this case here that the dollar, so US is here. So we've got 2 countries. We have Kenya and the USA. So as I write my formula for prediction, I know here that the forward then will be equal to the spot into 1 plus inflation rate of Kenya, all over 1 plus inflation rate of USA. Inflation rate of USA. Can somebody tell me, why have I taken Kenya to be the top country? Why is Kenya the top country in my solution? Why is Kenya the very top country? Why is Kenya the very top country? Why is Kenya? Kenya is the very top country because of what here? Kenya shilling is at the top. Thank you very much, Kennedy. Kenya shilling, look at this expression. This expression, if I was to rewrite it very well, if I was to write this in form of a fraction, this will be like this, 120 Kenya shillings all over the dollar. All over the dollar. All over the dollar. Yeah, all over the dollar. All over the dollar. So remember, it doesn't have to be like C is a numerator. No. It's just some understanding here. I could have even said here inflation of country A, inflation of country Z, inflation of country Y. It's about you just observing this. If you observe this, you'll be able to see like Kenya is on top, Kenya is on top, Kenya is on top, and then America is at the bottom here. If, for example, ladies and gentlemen, you are to be given here 30 Tanzania shillings, 30 Tanzania shillings per Kenya shilling. Which country will go to the top? Which country will be the top country here? Which country will be the top country here? TZ, isn't it? Yeah, TZ. Tanzania is on top. Kenya now is below. There are some students in the past year who used to tell me that, Mwalimu, whenever it comes to identifying which country is at the top, that Mwalimu, I will always look at which one is a superpower, which one is more powerful. And then they get it wrong. That the top country will always be the home country. No. It depends on how the spot rate is configured. If the spot rate is configured like this, I can see the Kenya shilling is on top. And if the Kenya shilling is on top, ladies and gentlemen, then Kenya goes up. So we'll go ahead and now plug in the numbers. So F will be equal to the spot. The spot is 120 into 1 plus inflation rate in Kenya is 0.18. All over 1 plus inflation rate in the USA, which is 0.1. Inflation rate in the USA, which is 0.1. Remember, this is a solution to number 1, which wants me to do 1 year. You see, 1 year I will not prorate. 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 I will not say times 3/12. So then please move slowly and tell me here, and I'm so happy because I can see so many students punching their calculators. So this will be 120 times 1.18 over 1.1 over 1.1. So you say 120 times 1.18 divided by 1.1. Most of them are giving me an answer of 128.73 Kenya shillings, in this case here, to the dollar. Kenya shilling to the dollar. Kenya shilling to the dollar. So is it only Keziah who is struggling with the volume, or is it everybody who has a problem with my volume? So John is saying loud and clear. Oh, it's clear, eh? Yeah, please, Keziah, just check again from your side. Check again from your side. Oh, there is another student who is struggling. There's another student who is struggling. Let me just sort this out. Let's sort out this thing over the microphone, just a minute. Go ahead straight away and give us this one here. When you multiply, they're saying 120 times 1.18 of 1.1 is 128.73. Let me ask you a question. We are moving from 120 Kenya shillings per dollar to 127 to 128.73 Kenya shillings to the dollar. Is the Kenya shilling here depreciating or appreciating? We were at 120 Kenya shillings per dollar. Now we are at 128 Kenya shillings per dollar. Is the Kenya shilling appreciating or it is depreciating? Do you know why it is depreciating? It's because the inflation rate in Kenya is higher. Inflation rate is a killer of a country's strength of its currency. Yeah, it's a killer. It destroys. Countries in this case here that have got high inflation rates, they are very, very weak currencies. Look at, for example, Zimbabwe. Actually, right now it is stabilizing because Zimbabwe, some time back, Zimbabwe was a hyper-inflationary economy. You could not even go to a hotel as a gentleman. Maybe you have, in this case here, your girlfriend, all right? You are taking, in this case here, for example, some great dinner, or your wife, you're taking some great dinner. In Zimbabwe, you are forced, in this case here, to pay for that dinner in advance. In advance. Why? Because the price of that plate of food would, in this case here, change anytime. Yeah, because of what is the hyperinflationary economies are very, very what here? They're very, very dangerous. So in this case here, if you look at, for example, the Kenya shilling, of course I know there is something that the government is doing to play around with the strength of the Kenya shilling. But trust you me, we have been able to manage to control our inflation. Our inflation is a little bit going down and down and down and down. And because of that, the Kenya shilling is also doing what? Responding by appreciating. It will be one of the factors. Of course, there is government interference. There is government intervention, direct intervention in making the Kenya shilling strong. But again, the inflation rate for sure is going down. But now the question is, let me see the board, okay? The question is, okay, we shall be able to talk about those things later on. This inflation rate going down, is it through the efforts of government or what is happening? Do you think in this case the government is doing something, or is it by just chance? Is it God who is helping us? Market forces? Why is the inflation rate in Kenya here now being seen to be really under control? It's going up a little bit for the last 1 month, but I mean, the government is really trying. There are two ways of looking at this. At times, the inflation rate may go down because people do not have adequate purchasing power. Hakuna pesa mfukoni. Watu wanunui vitu. Mtu ameweka gari yake kwa nyumba mwaka mzima, hatoi, hana pesa kununua petrol. Also, that one can take. So you can't really start celebrating outside there that, oh yeah, now the inflation rate is very down. The government is, no. There is also a likelihood, and it's not only in Kenya, it's in the entire East Africa region, that people are disenfranchised. People in this case do not have the purchasing power. All right? They don't have purchasing power. So the inflation rate is going down like that. All right. Government effort. Great. So we have a very good government. Great. Now we go to number 3. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2, I mean 3 months forward. So they want us to give them the 3 months forward. 3 months forward exchange rate. 3 months forward exchange rate. So how do we get this 3 months forward exchange rate? The same thing. Start by writing the formula. F is spot into 1 plus interest, not interest but inflation. Inflation of Kenya here. Inflation of Kenya all over 1 plus inflation of USA, like that. Inflation of USA. All right. So remember, my exchange rates are never expressed in form of percentage. Never. This is money. So here we have to prorate to a right. Remember, Kenya still is on top. Kenya shilling is on top. Dollar is below. So in that case, then my forward exchange rate will be the spot, which is 120 into 1 plus the inflation rate of Kenya, which is 18%. But you see, 18% is for a whole year. 18% is for a whole year. So times 3 over 12, 3 months. All over 1 plus inflation of the USA. Inflation of the USA is 0.1 times 3 over 12. Here, abracadabra, you must be very careful here, otherwise you will not get it right. Body mass. Otherwise, you may not be able to get this right. Body mass. So body mass, please, first of all, multiply this. Like 0.18 times 3 over 12. Whatever answer you get, you say plus 1. Or use your calculator directly. Your calculator has got body mass in it. 1 plus 0.18 times 3 over 12. What answer are we getting? Somebody give me this answer. Give me this answer. No, I want you to give me this one here. 1 plus 0.18 times 3 over 12. Somebody give me this answer. 1.045. Thank you very much. 1.045. All over, in this case here, 1.1 here. Somebody give me this denominator. 1.015. So you say 120 times this divided by this. 120 times this divided by this. 120 times this divided by this. That is how you'll be able to get 1.0, I'm told it's 1.025. Sorry for that. Sorry for that, and thank you for giving me the correct answer here. Yeah. Because of our videos, we want our videos to be very accurate. So 120 times 1.0, so this gives me 122.34. 122.34 Kenya shillings per what year? Kenya shillings per dollar, like that. So, and that is the end of that concept of purchasing power. It makes use of what year? Inflation rates. But now this is how your exam is set. Let me tell you how your exam is set. Let me tell you how the exam, please help Mr. Brian, please help me to answer some questions there. Like I saw somebody advised that students should be able to leave like a half a page, something like that. Please always help Mwalimu to answer some questions here. Now for your exam. Now this is an exam focus area. Exam focus area for April 2023, 2025, 2025, not 2023, 2025, 2025. So in this case here, exam focus. Great. Now, please listen and listen to me very carefully. You'll be told here, we have Wamchomba. Has imported a vehicle worth 500,000 US dollars, payable in 3 months' time, in 3 months' time, in 3 months' time, in 3 months' time, in 3 months' time. Miss Wamchomba has imported a vehicle worth 500,000 US dollars, which is payable in 3 months' time. In 3 months' time. All right. So then they have given me the spot rate, today's rate. The spot rate, in this case here, is 0.0. 0.011 to $0.012 per Kenya shilling. Yes, the examiner may want to twist things for you. The examiner may want to twist things for you. All right, so it gives you this spot rate. Instead of saying 120 Kenya shillings, he twists this. Like myself, I like twisting things. I like twisting things. All right. So it gives you like that. And then it'll come and give you interest rates. Interest rates, we have here USA, 8% to 12%. We have Kenya. Kenya, in this case here, we have 18% to 28%, like that. Then they have given us inflation rates. Inflation rates. They will give you here, USA is 6%, and then Kenya is 18%. 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 Just a minute. Something I want to do here because I've seen somebody putting on their cameras. You know, these videos I'm producing, like today's video, I'm producing it for YouTube. So if you put your face around and then I put your face on YouTube, it would be bad because later on you can come suing me. I can't see that thing which can make these people here not put on their cameras, but you shall see. So then we are required here, this is an exam question. This is an exam question. We are required to determine, number one, amount payable using forward contract strategy if F is predicted using PPP. Yeah, it will be international disaster years. So amount payable by Wamuchomba using forward contract strategy if this F is predicted using PPP, like that. So we shall be able to do this number 1 solution, and then we go to number 2. I'll ask 3 questions from this information given. I'll ask 3 questions. So it's an exam focus area. So can I give you like a minute to try this question yourselves? Or you do want this senior ninja to do it? Yes, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Well, the very first thing that we need to do here is to apply this PPP, purchasing power parity, to predict forward exchange rate, because we can't get forward contract without forward exchange rate. So then we are using now this PPP. One plus inflation. In which country here? Look at how this has been expressed. Is there somebody who was able to know that US is on top? US is the top country. Is there somebody who was able to know that US is the top country? Yes. So inflation of USA all over 1 plus inflation of Kenya. I forgot in this case here S in front there. All right. So you always look at the expression of this. So then the spot rate, you have to be very, very careful here. Which one did you use as your spot rate? Which one did you use as your spot rate? You know, there are 2 of them. And what I normally tell my students, whenever you get like 2 spot rates and then you are confused, in an exam you should not feel bad. No, you still have a way. If you're confused like between the 2, which one should I take? You shall always use the 2 rates. You tell the examiner that if I use this rate, the forward contract amount will be this. And if I use this rate, we're underlining very well, the forward contract amount will be this. As examiners, we're always trained to look for the correct one. You look for the correct one and then you put a tick. The only undoing with that approach is that you will waste a lot of time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen. You see here, I have to identify which one is the buying rate. So between the 2, which one is the buying rate? Shake your hand. Thank you very much, Maya. So the buying rate is always the rate which is towards my home currency. Kenya shilling is on the right. So this is buy. And this is what here? Sell. Buy and sell. So remember that this is a payable question. So if it's a payable question, what will be the role of the bank? Bank sells. So bank sells at 0.011, like that. So now this is what we shall use as our spot rate. This is what we are going to use as our spot rate. So most of you chose this 0.011 as your spot rate. Was it by this kind of reasoning or was it by just sheer luck? Or you reasoned? Very good. USA top? No. That cannot be the reason. Yours keep saying today, yours in this case here was by sheer what here? Sheer luck.
Sheer luck. All right. So then, ladies and gentlemen, what we shall do, we shall come and take this 0.011 into 1 plus inflation of USA. Inflation of USA is 0.06. This has to be time prorated. This has to be time prorated. This has to be time prorated. Inflation of USA all over 1 plus inflation of Kenya. Inflation of Kenya is 0.18 times 3 over 12. Remember, these rates are normally annual rates. They're normally annual rates. So abracadabra, are you guys able to give me the final answer? How do you get the final answer? Very easily. You will say 0.011 times into brackets. 1 plus 0.06 times 3 over 12. You close brackets. Then you say divide by, open brackets. 1 plus 0.18 times 3 over 12. You close brackets. You'll be able to get your answer directly. You'll be able to get your answer directly. You'll be able to get your answer directly. So you say here 0.011 into 1 plus 0.06 times 3 over 12. All over 1 plus 0.18 times 3 over 12. Yeah. So what figure are we getting? Somebody there, people are giving me different answers, you know. People are really getting very, very different answers. I don't know why. People are getting very, very different answers. I don't know why. It seems this 0.01068 dollars to Kenya shilling is the correct one. Is that okay? It seems this is the correct one. You can as well go slow on this. You can as well get this number separately. You get this number separately. And then you say 0.011 times this number divided by this number, divided by that number. I would be very happy to see that everybody is getting the same answer. I would be very happy. Yeah, so T wants us to go slow, which is very, very good. T is telling me, Mwalimu, let's go slow here. So what is your numerator? What is your numerator? So says somebody say there, 1 plus 0.06 times 3 over 12. Give me an answer. What is the numerator? What is the numerator? Let's go slow. T, you are right. Let's go slow. T, you are right. Let's go slow. 1.015. All over, how about the denominator? 1 plus 0.18 times 3 over 12. Divided by 1.045. Then I can pick up my calculator and say 0.011 times 1.015 divided by 1.045. Divided by 1.045. Divided by 0, which gives me 0 now, 0.1068. Are you sure, Joy? It is 1068 or 0.0? Don't miss that 0 out. Don't miss that 0 out. Don't miss that 0 out. So I can see Lizzie asking that question. Why are we using 0.011? So I'm so sure that Lizzie, because I've been with Lizzie here for so long, Lizzie has not taken an initiative of going back to our videos, like money market video. Watch like just 1 or 2, and you will be very, very comfortable. 1 or 2, very, very comfortable. You can never go wrong. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Because we said, if you remember very well, and we have repeated this severally. Yeah, and of course, I'm not talking to Lizzie alone, but everybody. If you just watch like those initial videos, 1 or 2, you'll be good to go with this entire topic here. We say we have what we call foreign boyfriend. And a foreign boyfriend, foreign receipts, the banks will always borrow what here? Foreign. And in this case here, foreign boyfriend buys dinner. You remember. So from this one, tukasema because of this receivable, the bank shall always buy. So whenever you see a foreign receivable, Dr. Aura will be getting 2 million, in this case here, Japanese yens in 2 months. A foreign receivable, the bank shall always buy. The bank shall always buy. What if, like now, Wamchomba, upon importing this vehicle, of course, Wamchomba will be required to do what? To pay. So for payables, the bank sells. I repeat, and I write. Because I told you this topic, whether you like it or not, it will be 38 marks. This topic, 38 marks. You get this topic correct, I will never meet you again in this level. I will never meet you again in this level. I'll meet you in a serious level, like BDA. BDA is a serious paper. AFM is not a serious paper. AFM is not a serious paper. So whenever you see a receivable, always know that the bank buys. The bank buys. And then we have a table like when Mushomba is bringing a vehicle, she'll be required to pay. So payable, the bank does what here? The bank sells. Allow me to take some time. I hope you've been able to write this. Allow me to take some time to explain something here. And this is something that will be fighting with many of you, those students who don't want to watch those initial videos. If you don't want to watch those 2 initial videos, we'll always be fighting with you in this topic. But if you watch those 2 initial videos, we shall never fight with you. You will be comfortable. You will get those 38 marks. 38 marks, and then you add 1 theory here and there, you pass. There is something that I don't want us to be fighting about as we go on with this topic, as I come to the end of this topic, if, for example, you are given here an exchange rate, 10 to 20, Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. There are those students who will still believe that the lower number should always be buy. Always. There are those who will tell you that Mwalimu, the lower number is buy, and this one here is sell. All right. All right. Yeah, banks are very rich, yes. Banks are very rich, yes. Like this year, they are posting crazy profits here. And ladies and gentlemen, please listen. We don't interpret, this is what we call indirect quote. Why? Because I'm not starting with my country's currency. We are not starting with my country's currency. The direct ones are the one where we say Kenya shillings per dollar. Those are very, very good. So here, the very best way for you to handle this kind of a question to appreciate like between the two, if I go to the bank, which will be the bank's buying rate. The bank's buying rate. When you go to a bank, you always get the bank displaying that board. Yeah, it normally comes with red things, wood board, red. 10, 20, other currencies, many currencies like that. Swedish krona, right? Ethiopian birr, like that. Sudanese pound, buying rate, selling rate. So at times it can be, it's not obvious like when they give you those rates that the bank always buys at a lower rate and it sells at a higher rate. Not obvious. It depends on how the exchange rate has been expressed. It depends on how the exchange rate has been expressed. If it is expressed in a funny way like this, where a foreign currency is sitting on our currency, we are supposed to be sitting on other currencies. But you see now here, it is Uganda which is on top. So this is quite abnormal because a foreign currency is sitting on what here is sitting on our currency. So if it's abnormal, we call it indirect. And if it is indirect, the bank will buy always at a higher rate. The best way is to shake your hand. You shake, there are 2 ways here. There are 2 ways if you want to get always this thing correct. 2 ways. So the very best way that I recommend to you is always to do what you have to shake your hand towards your home currency. When you realize your home currency is on the right, like now this Kenya shilling is our home currency, it is on the right, then this 20, the right number, left number, right number, the right number becomes buy. This one here becomes who? Sell, like that. The other option is for you to make these rates direct. The students who like this approach, you make the rates direct. How do you make the rates direct? By, in this case here, reciprocating things. Yeah, if I would want to make this rate direct, if I want this to be Kenya shilling per Uganda shilling, how do I go about this? I'll come and say 1/10. And then this one here will be 1/20. So what is 1/10, somebody? This is 0.1. 0.1. How about 1/20? How about 1/20? 1/20 will be somebody give me this from your calculators, please. 0.05. So remember, these are now Kenya shillings. Now this is what we call Kenya shillings per what here? Per Uganda shilling. per Uganda shilling, per Uganda shilling. Please listen. If you're using this approach, then what will this mean to you? What will this mean to you? If it is a range, it can't be like from a bigger number to a smaller number. So I have to write this properly. So it will be 0.05 to 0.1 Kenya shillings per dollar. So now you can see buy at, if you are able to express all your exchange rates to direct, if you make all of them direct, then you can say that the bank will always be buying at a lower rate and then they sell at a higher rate. So this becomes what you buy and this becomes what you sell. I don't want this approach at all. Because even with this approach, somebody would have seen that my Kenya shilling is on the left. Kenya shilling is on the left. Or it was Uganda, whatever. Kenya shilling is on the left. And if it is on the left, then the left number becomes what we call buy. The left number becomes what we call buy. So which approach do you think will be the best for us to work with? I think the very best approach for us to work with, ladies and gentlemen, is this approach where we shake our hands. It is the best. It has stood all tests of time. That when you see 10 to 20 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling, you go by your home currency. Where is the Kenya shilling? It is on the right side. And if it is on the right side, then we have left right. The right number becomes buy. This one here becomes what here? Sell, like that. Shake hand. You can never go wrong. So please come, ladies and gentlemen, to this one. So now we have this one. Remember, this is Wamchomba's question. This is Wamchomba's question. They have given us here dollar to the Kenya shilling. Dollar to the Kenya shilling. And they want us to identify the buy. They want us to identify the buy. So where is the Kenya shilling? I shake my hand. Kenya shilling is on the right. Kenya shilling is on the right. So in terms of numbers, this is left, this is on the right. So the right number, because of the Kenya shilling position, so the right number becomes buy. This one here becomes what here? Sell. And then remember, when Chomba is importing a vehicle, and she's expected to pay money. So it's a payable question. And if it's a payable question, now we know. If it's a payable question, we know. What will be the role of the bank in terms of a payable question? What will be the role of the bank in terms of a payable question? The bank sells. The bank sells. So in this case here, the bank sells. The bank sells. And that is why we chose this selling rate. That's why we chose this selling rate of $0.011 per K, because this is the selling rate. That is the selling rate. So now, Lizzie, are we together? And I wish you get a chance of just relooking at the two videos only. We change lives because we don't want to teach you again. We should not teach anybody here AFM next semester. No, because we know the secret. This topic that I'm teaching you will have 38 marks. We know the secret. All right. And then, of course, you time like the question that I was giving you yesterday. We know the secret. Why should I teach you again next semester? Next semester, I should teach you guys BD. And the only way out is through review. Before you come to today's class, just review. Take those two videos, the old videos, the one that I did, which has forward contracts and money markets, and you will be comfortable. You'll be comfortable. Of course, I also appreciate that you guys are busy. That's why I normally don't fight with you, because I know at times I wear your shoes. There must be fathers here. There must be somebody who has got 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids. There must be somebody who is very, very busy. Like now, today, this week has been a closing week. You'll be closing your books of accounts. So you are very, very busy. You see? Do we have some people here who are parents really? Do we have even grandfather? Even grandfather, what do you mean? Parents, yeah. It's not easy to be a parent. Not easy to be a parent. Especially being a parent to teenage. These Gen Zs, when they are teenagers, it's a different ballgame. It's a different ballgame. They're not like ourselves. During our time, we used to respect our parents a lot. Nowadays, by the time a kid hits 14 years, 13 years, he sees you like a zombie. He thinks that you should be in some animal orphanage. All right? So it's not easy. All those things can be exerting pressure on you so that you can't even follow whatever you're teaching. But now to motivate you, ladies and gentlemen, those things notwithstanding, we shall pass. Those things notwithstanding, we shall pass. We shall pass. Those things notwithstanding, we shall pass. We shall pass. Or Gen Alpha is different, is it? Yeah. You know, we are covering two topics in one go. It's called international finance and derivatives. International finance and derivatives. Yeah. So two great questions out of this. That's why I don't want you to miss on this. That is why I want to be coming here on every Saturday singing the same things, because I know. All right. Great. I'm so happy to see that we have people really who are parents here. I never knew you were that many. I've always thought that I'm teaching very young people. I've always thought that I'm teaching very young people in their early 20s. We shall overcome. Yeah, we shall be able to upload that video. We shall be able to upload yesterday's video. But don't put your mind there as well. Put all your mind here. Yeah, senior citizens. Wow, great. Eric Convego, I doubt. We can't be age mates. Age mates, no. I'm 40. I'm now going to 47. I doubt whether you are there, Eric. I doubt whether you are there. Eminent, I wish I did this in my 20s. Don't worry. It's not late. Again, learning is supposed to be continuous. It's not late. 52 leash, I doubt. You must be lying. I doubt. 25, yeah. Most of you are around there. 25, 22, maybe 18. I'm so sure if you guys were to open up in terms of your ages, most of you are around there. There are very few people who are falling in the 30 to 40 bracket. Very few people. Third floor most. Oh, okay. Modoni, no, we shall overcome. So then let's get back now here. Ubi will be able to answer that. Let's focus here. We shall be the good thing, ladies and gentlemen, as you become old, things become more even better. You see, there is somebody who did CPA in their 20s earlier on, up to now they have never gotten a job. You went and they started working, all right. Now you're finishing your CPA. That life is like that, it's fleet like that. So all of us can never have it straight. Some people must go like this, but at the end of the day, all of us shall succeed. All of us shall succeed. I mean, there are people in this case here who left doing this CPA. They went the family way fast. Now they've got 3 kids. Is it that success? Or that can't be a KPI, a key performance indicator? Yeah, you went to be like myself. I remember, I mean, the moment you go to family way, like most of these ladies, they stop doing many things. It's not easy to parent. It's not easy. But here we are. We shall be able to finish. That is the most important thing. That marks how? Don't worry, Eric. We have been in this game for long. We know. You just trust what I'm telling you. We know. So bank sales at $0.011 per Kenya shilling. All right. Then let's continue here. Wow. All right. So then, ladies and gentlemen, we have been able now to use this forward. I can repeat it here. We've been able to use this forward to get the formula, the PPP. Yeah? So 1 plus interest in the US, not interest, but inflation in USA, all over 1 plus inflation in Kenya. So this will be spot. Now we know the spot to use. It is 0.011 times, in this case here, 1 plus inflation in USA. Inflation in USA is 6%. This is for a whole year. So 0.06. This has to be time prorated because we're talking about 3 months. The lady is supposed to pay in 3 months. All over 1 plus inflation in Kenya. Inflation in Kenya is here, 0.18 times 3 over 12. And this is how we were able to get this number like that. So now I can move forward with this very well. Now you can move forward with this very well. All right, my good students, all right. Now forward contract. So let's now use this forward contract to get the forward contract amount. So on Tomba, the amount payable is 500,000 US dollars. 3 months exchange rate, 3 months forward rate is 0.010688. 1068 dollars per Kenya shilling. Dollars. Of course, plus theory zake, yes. Theory zake kwanza ni mingi sana. Plus theory zake, yes. Dollars are Kenya shilling. So please go ahead and exchange. So when we are exchanging, do we divide or do we multiply? Already Keziah has an answer for me. This is a brilliant lady. She has known that these are US dollars and these are US dollars. There is no way you can multiply a US dollar and a US dollar. You'll end up getting US dollar squared. You'll end up getting US dollar squared. So we divide. So we shall divide. And this will be 500,000 divided by 0.01068, which will end up being equal to who? Which will end up being equal to Kenya shillings, 46,816, 479. Thank you so much, Keziah and Lorna. Is there anybody who was able to get this answer correctly without Mwalimu's intervention? Anybody who was able to get this? This I got. Who is this? Let me read their names. Let me read. The Keziah, great. You've always gotten many correct. The Keziah, not these alone. But is there now a ninja who has learned something, how to do it correctly, that they will not get it wrong in an exam? Is there a ninja? That is the most important thing. There is a ninja who has now, sure, yes. Thank you so much. So then let's go to number 2. So now we are writing number 2 down. We are writing number 2 down. Amount payable using actually should be amount payable in Kenya shillings. Using forward contract. If the 3 months forward exchange rate, if the 3 months forward exchange rate is predicted using IRP. If the 3 months exchange rate is predicted using IRP. IRP does not stand for you. No, there used to be a political party. Yeah. It is interest rate parity. Using interest rate parity. Thank you so much, Keziah. Interest rate parity. So can I give you just a minute for you to think through the question? Just 1 minute, even if you get it like 0. So what? You will have learned. There is no learning without stains. You must get stains here and there for you to learn. That's what Omo used to tell us. Omo is powerful. Allow your kids to get outside there to play, and everything will be okay. Using interest rate parity. At your head. Write something, even with the formula alone, write something down. Write something down. Life needs confident people. Life needs very confident people, trust you me. That kind of I don't care attitude, so what? So what? Is there a ninja who is just holding their chins like this without writing anything somewhere there? That can't be you. My great ninjas are writing things. It's about practice. You must write something. Let's write something. Maya is giving us an answer there. Maya is giving us an answer there. So 2 minutes are over. Can I give it a shot? Can I attempt? Can I attempt? Can I attempt? Yeah, Danson, I knew that is quite a challenge. Let me attempt it. Let me attempt this. Yeah, and as Danson is telling us, we need in this case here to evaluate the interest rates first. When they brought this kind of a question some time back, very few students were able to get something out of this. Very few students. Most students in this case have flopped. Despite them having been very good in terms of the formula IRP, they never got anything. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whenever interest rates are given like this, like now the USA 8%, 12%, which one is the borrowing rate? Which one is the borrowing rate? Yeah, 12. No case higher. Bank's borrowing rate must always be higher. Madung. Borrowing is madung. 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 Momo. Big. Borrowing rate is always higher. So this is borrowing. This is borrowing. And this is what here? Investing. Higher rate. Are we together first of all up to there? Are we together? Are we together that always the borrowing rate will be higher? Great. That is achievement. Big tick. Correct. Now, when they give us this kind of a question, we must always use the foreign, when they're giving, even if you're doing forward contract, we must use this foreign boyfriend buys dinner concept. You must use foreign boyfriend buys dinner concept. Foreign boyfriend buys dinner. Foreign boyfriend buys dinner. Now remember, this is for receivable. This is for receivable. But the question that we have is a payable question. So payable question, we shall use FPBL, sales. You guys remember these two rules of money markets? Do you remember these two rules of money markets? Thank you so much. Remember, Wamchomba's question is a payable question. Wamchomba's question is a payable question. And if it's a payable question, then we shall use this second rule here, FPBL. So you can mention there that since Wamchomba's question is a payable one, since Wamchomba's question is a payable one, we are using the second rule. We are using rule 2, yes. FPBL, sales. But I don't mind seeing students writing even the two first of all and highlighting them using a yellow highlighter. because these are really very, very important rules. And then later on here, you can just mention that, as a note, that given that Wamchomba's question is a payable question, it's an importation question. Whenever you have an importation question, then you know it's a payable. You're supposed to pay. So since it's a payable question, then automatically, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be able to use this FPBL. FPBL stands for what? FPBL stands for what? Foreign payment, you borrow local. Foreign payment, you borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local. Borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local. I.e. Wamchomba. Wamchomba will borrow local currency, which is Kenya shilling. At what rate? She'll borrow Kenya shilling at what rate? She'll borrow Kenya shilling at what rate? She'll borrow Kenya shilling, borrowing Kenya shilling at 28. Thank you so much. 28%. And of course, once she borrows in this case here, this money, hii pesa akishaomba ni kama njugu akule tautau, ni kama njugu akule tautau haraka amalize. Remember, she is supposed to be borrowing today, alafu alipe 3 months. At a borrow, alafu invest, isn't it? Very good. So in this case, she will borrow local currency and invest in dollars, in foreign currency, in dollars, USA. So investing rate will be at what? Will be the investing rate in the USA. Investing rate USA will be 8%. Investing rate USA will be 8%. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that I would want to draw your attention to, all of us. When we are doing international finance, please, we shall always be thinking like we are global citizens. Always think, imagine yourself in this case, you don't start asking, there's somebody who was asking me some question here some time back, but now Wamchomba is in Kenya, how will she borrow in Kenya and invest in the US? I mean, if you go to Equity Bank, our local bank here, it has a dollar account. So you will simply, in this case, you're borrowing from the same bank, you borrow from the same bank, Kenya shillings, exchange, you convert, and then you deposit in the same bank in dollars. And then you wait 3 months are over, you make your payment. So remember, if it's money market, you've got 2 legs. So the first leg, Wamchomba, is borrowing local. The second leg, investing in dollars. Now from there, I can come and write my equation. I can come here and write my IRP equation, interest rate parity equation. So my equation here is F equals S into 1 plus interest rate. In USA, remember how the spot was written. In USA, all over 1 plus interest rate in Kenya. So then I will come here and pick the spot. Remember the spot rate, already we are in agreement. It is the selling rate, right? Already that one we know that the bank is selling. It is a selling rate. So it is a selling rate. It is 0.011? I think so. Was it 0.011? Spot rate does not change, eh? It is 0.011 into 1 plus interest in the USA. You can see interest in the USA. 0.08 times 3/12. All over 1 plus interest in Kenya. Interest in Kenya is 0.28 times 3/12. I know I will repeat this concept, but first of all, give me the final answer here. Give me the final answer, and then I repeat. Give me the final answer, and then I repeat. Okay, Maya, before we go there, are you able to give me this value here, first of all, the F? Are you able to give me the F, first of all? I will repeat this. I will repeat this. That much I know. I must repeat this. Because this is an exam focus area. This is an exam focus area. I must repeat. Ukianguka unajiblame peke yako, hautaniblame mimi. Hautaniblame mimi, hautaniblame mimi. And ukimani 0.01049 dollar per Kenya shilling. And then the amount, Wamchomba is needed to pay 500,000 US dollars. So go ahead and exchange. Of course, these are USD and these are US dollars. There's no way you can multiply. When exchanging, you shall divide. 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 Great. I'll be able to answer that question. I'll be able to answer that question. So exchange. So it will be 500,000 divide 0.01049, which is 47,664,442 Kenya shillings. Is there anybody who was able to get this correctly? Before I repeat something here, is there anybody who was able to get this correctly? Wow, Jane, that's brilliant. That's good. Maya, no. So it's only Jane. I missed interest rate. Mr. Kuru is giving us the fact, but apart from Jane, is there any other student who was able to get it correctly without Mwalimu's intervention? We have John got it right. John got it right. I mean, the better question should be, before I repeat, if we bring this in your exam, will you be able to interpret it correctly? If we bring this in your exam, will you be able to interpret it correctly? Great. That should be the better question, because we shall always be forward-looking. We shall always be forward-looking. We shall always be forward-looking. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I come to repeat this, nataka mujione mkiwa global citizens, international citizens. Hii kitu haitaki ukuwe local champion. You know, I normally describe my local champions. Local champions unapata alienda Kirinyaga Primary School, akaenda Kirinyaga Secondary School, sababu ya online classes, ako Kirinyaga bado taona anasoma RCM, lakini atoki Kirinyaga. Akioa anaoa Mkirinyaga. Huyo kweli anaweza kuwa international champion? Huyo kweli anaweza kuwa international champion kweli? Disaster. Disaster. Get out. That is why myself, whenever I'm free, like now today I'm free, naenda paka Kajiado huko ndani kabisa. Mimi napenda kutafuta mashamba sana. So naenda mbali sana Kajiado leo. Kumaliza tu class namna hiyo, natembea. I want to know Kenya. Through moving around, you get to know so many things. You get to know so many things. You get to experience better things. You get to unakwambia hii unafanya hivi, you get money. Hiki kujifungia international disaster. That is why hata mimi nilipokuja kuoa, mimi nilioa Mkalenjin. Yeah. Hapana kai vile lazima wewe me, my parents, different tribes. Myself, my wife, different tribes. So my kids, they are tribeless. 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 And of course, at times, it causes challenges. I cause the challenges. You can imagine, like during some general election, all right. Now, of course, I was on the other side. Madam was on the other side. I was thinking we are going to win. I was celebrating. Unakuta sasa umeshindwa tena. Mzee ametuangusha. Kwa nyumba mpaka watu wamekunichekelea. So it has got its challenge. But you see, that is what we call, being a global citizen. You should be able even to marry a Mzungu, right? We should overcome. We should overcome. Diversification of risk, yes. Esther, here we shall use what here? We shall use always whole number for the amount. Amount whole number, but this rates here we shall be precise. Many. Hata kama ni Eritrea, yes, Brian. Yes, hiyo ni portfolio naangalia namna hiyo. Portfolio naangalia namna hiyo. All right. So then somebody has asked a question. If, for example, in mathematics, If in mathematics, before I repeat, in mathematics, if you're given like say 2 times, if it's like this, 4/8. Can you kindly use your calculators? Give me this final answer. Say 2 times into brackets 4/8. Yeah, 1, isn't it? Yeah, 1. So meaning that, you see, my friend, this one here has got an over 1, automatic over 1. Meaning that I'm supposed to take 2 times 4 alone, and then of course over 8. It's not like this 2 is supposed to multiply 4 and it multiplies 8. No. So it's supposed to be 2 times 4 is 8, 8/8. So it is this times this, and then 1 times 8. Have I answered your question? Have I answered your question? This ninja wants that question. Have I answered your question? Yeah. But it will be optional. Actually, what they should be doing, like body mass is quite a crazy thing. Even in this class, ladies and gentlemen, if, for example, I give you something like this, 30 divided by 10 times 10, don't use your calculator. Give me the answer without using a calculator. Yeah, you can work out the brackets, yes. You can work out the brackets, yes. Or start here. All right, okay. Not 300, right? All right. Oh, lastly, before I leave this, I can see you guys are very good in body mass. 20 divided by 1/10 times 10. I'm so sure you guys are using your calculators. It's because you're using your calculators, that's why you're able to get it right. If you're not using your calculators, I'm so sure most of us will not be right. If you're to be very honest, most of us will not be right. So remember body mass, first of all, you must deal with division, isn't it? Before multiplication, deal with division. So how do I deal with division? I must reciprocate this times this. So the correct answer is supposed to be 2,000. 2,000. Actually, if you ask me in terms of mathematics, the only bit of math which is supposed to be taught very well at this senior secondary school, it should be arithmetic, should be body mass alone. This body mass, these things like that. Otherwise, they should not. Why should you want everybody to do mathematics, vectors, trigonometry, and they're not going to do engineering? If, for example, you have said that this CBC, we have, for example, the sports science. Somebody wants to go to sports science. Why do you want to teach somebody who is doing sports science linear programming? No, this person who is doing sports science should only be taught very basic mathematics, which is basically mirroring this. They have, in this case here, like a very, very simple, simplified maths for them. But they should never do maths as a major. Leave major to be done by who? By doctors. Major to be done by who? To be done, in this case here, by engineers. Not even accountants. Accountants should not major in mathematics. They should not major in mathematics. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Okay. So Muslima had asked a question up there. I'm not able to see it again. Muslima, there are so many. Are you able to tag me? We shall overcome. If the spot rate was a direct expression, the numerator in the forward contract formula will be the interest rate in Kenya. No, Muslima. That one of Kenya being on top or Kenya being below is something that is not related with the direct or indirect. No, it's just an expression of the spot. If, for example, they tell you spot is 100 Uganda shillings per Tanzania shilling. Which country, if I write here F, I will say F is spot into 1 plus interest. Which country will be on top here? Yeah, you can see from the expression, yes. From the expression, Uganda is on top. Uganda is on top. So 1 plus interest of Uganda all over 1 plus interest of Tanzania. I hope Muslim have answered your question. All right. All right. Yeah, even if it's inflation, even inflation, ladies and gentlemen, what basically we are using it to be able to know the top country and the bottom country is the spot rate. So I would have written here inflation of Uganda, inflation of Tanzania. Same. Without even looking at whether it's direct or indirect. Number 3 to that question now. No, I need to repeat something. And don't write this down. This is for our eyes only. Don't write this down. This is for our eyes only. Now, assuming I teach you very well. Yes, spot rate expression is the determinant, Mayo. Spot rate expression is the determinant. Now, of course, here at RCM, we have students in this case who are coming from different countries. Different countries. Like now we have them coming from South Sudan. So in this case, for example, if I was to teach Deng very well, I teach Deng very well. And then Deng tells me, Mwalimu, come May, when results will be released, if I pass Mwalimu, I will give you $100,000 US. So we have 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄 here. 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄 expecting to receive $100,000 US in 2 months' time. From Deng, 2 months' time. If he passes, and he will pass, of course. And then we have in this case here interest rates. I would want to hedge. I don't want, even with the promise that Deng has given me, I don't just want to lie down and just wait for this money. I must try to make things happen here. I must try to profit out of this. So I must try to hedge. So interest rate. So we are given interest rates here. We are given interest rates here. Kenya, 18%, 25%. We're given USA, in this case here, 6%, 10%. 10%. I don't want you to write this somewhere because I'm going to finish that question. All right. So remember, 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄 expects to receive. So I'm going to receive this. So this is a receivable. Don't forget that. It's a receivable. Don't forget that. Yeah, it's a receivable. Don't forget that. All right. Then they have given us a spot rate. They have given us spot rate. They have given us 120 Kenya shillings to the dollar. So then how much will 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄 receive? How much will 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄 receive? Receive in 3 months' time if forward contract hedge is used. If forward contract hedge is used. So I don't know whether you can get a rough area to write this. So 𝐂𝐈𝐅𝐄, from his very best friend called Deng, he's promised that Mwalimu, in Southern Sudan, when I pass this CPA, I'm going to become a minister. All right. Once I pass these papers, 2 months' time from today, I will give you 100,000 in 2 months. John, that's very good you're asking that question. I think I've been using 3 months in all my examples, and in all your past papers, we have 3 months. The examiner can change. So like now here we've said 2 months. Yeah, Sister Salome, that's very good. I'll be able to make a comment. Yeah, of course, here you cannot use, thank you very much, ISO. We can't use PPP because inflation is not given. We can only use IRP. ISO is very good. That's very good. We're using IRP. Before I answer Sister Salome's question, why has this lady thought of using IRP? Remember, forward has not been given here. So then the very first thing we need to do is to calculate the 2 months forward using IRP, using IRP. My period is inconsistent. Now I understand why they were asking 2 months. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you very much. 2 months. 2 months. Thank you, ST. My period is inconsistent. It is 2 months here. It's 2 months down there. All right. So what time is this class supposed to be ending? Forward what? Forward contract, using forward contract hedge. Using forward contract hedge. Using forward contract hedge. Why 9 a.m.? Do you have any engagement after this? Are you doing any other thing after this? Or should we continue for another 1 hour? Because I will only need a break of 15 minutes. I normally take my break fast at 9. A break of 15 minutes, and that will be it. We continue. This is a weekend. I mean, after this, do you have any other thing you're doing? Where are you going? I'm the one who will be going to Kajiado, but I can push it a bit. I go from 10 there. Oh, I said 7 to 9. Coming to work. We shall overcome, yes. We shall overcome. Oh, you're working on Saturday. You're working on Saturday, okay. Okay. You're working. No, then let's just stop at 9. Let's stop at 9 exactly, no problem. Let's stop at 9 exactly. But I feel there are students who are still really not at par with Mwalimu. So maybe I could use like the next one after our breakfast to just introduce this topic to them afresh. You guys are still confusing. Should we buy at this rate? Should we buy? So those students are still my students. I have to take care of them. I must take care of them. I must take care of them. You'll be there, great. I'm so sure there are many, not you, Lizzie, alone. There are many guys here. There are many guys here who are very busy. They have never gotten time to watch those 2 videos, the first videos. We shall overcome. Present to present, okay? Or present. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. And are you talking about a present, or you want this to do a presentation? All right. Now here, hey, this is not an easy one. But I know if it's a receivable, then the rule I'll be using for me to be able to get this forward is foreign boyfriend buys. Oh, you will be present. Ah, great. Thank you very much. You'll be present. Oh, morning students. Ah, okay. Yeah, I normally forget to share the link to all these classes here in the morning group. I don't know why I forget. Actually, I'll put it somewhere that I will always invite all of them to all my classes. Of course, I know you're morning students, but when I invite you in the evening, please always avail yourselves. So this is foreign boyfriend buys. Foreign boyfriend buys. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Very good. Then, of course, I know this is borrowing because this is higher. And this is what here investing rate. Okay, they're behind, yeah. Okay. So then come here now. Come here. Draw that table. So we have said we shall borrow foreign. We shall borrow foreign. So foreign is US dollars. So borrow foreign. So foreign is US dollars. So which rate are we using? 10%, isn't it? So the rate we're using here is 10%. The rate we're using here is 10%. Is that okay? Yeah, because 10 borrowing, this column of borrowing, 10%. And then we invest Kenya shilling. We invest Kenya shilling. So if I invest in Kenya shilling, what percentage will I use? 𝐂𝐁 18%. 18%. Then come and write the formula. Come and write the formula. So to write my formula, I know that my forward will be equal to spot into 1 plus interest. Interest in which country? In my formula. See the expression here. Interest in which country? In Kenya. So interest in Kenya, all over 1 plus interest in, from this expression, dollar. So interest in US dollar. Then now this F will be, spot is 120 times 1 plus interest in Kenya. Already you know, interest in Kenya, you have picked it. 0.18 times 2 over 12, all over 1 plus interest in USD. Interest in USD is 0.1 times 2 over 12, 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 times 2 over 12. Yeah, it's forward, but you see now this question, they want you to differentiate. They want to differentiate between interest rates. You must do it this way. You must start it off as if it's a money market question. You start it off as if it's a money market question. Mary, my mother's name, Mary. Yeah. Yeah. Rate. So then is there somebody who can give me this forward S star? I mean, you're 100 what here? 112.3636 like that. 112.3636 like that. This is Kenya shillings per watt year per dollar. So go ahead and exchange. So exchange. So exchange, you can see 112.3636. Kenya shilling equals $1. Equals $1. Yeah, Mary is now being taught by her son. Very good. 112.3636 Kenya shilling equals $1. How about $100,000? So this ninja will end up giving me how much? Lots of money. Multiply this and this. But the very best student is the student who thinks this way. Now, these are dollars and these are what year? Kenya shillings. They are compatible through multiplication. 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 You multiply. So is there any student who was able to get this entire forward amount, forward contract amount? Is that F correct? I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting this F from you guys. Please check this F again. How you need to do it. You say 120 times, open bracket, 1 plus 0.18 times 2 over 12 close. You say again, divide. Open another bracket. Open bracket here for the denominator always. 121.57. Woi. 121.57. No problem. So if that is correct, then come and use it here. Use it here. 121.57 times. So it equals 121.57 times 100,000. Like that, times 100,000. So then this one will end up being equal to what? This one will end up being equal to, I got this right. 𝐂𝐁 is getting things right. Apart from 𝐂𝐁, do we have any other ninja or ninja-ri that got this question correctly from the beginning to the end without Mwalimu's intervention? Without Mwalimu's intervention. Mayo also got it. Great. Great. Valerie got it. Yeah. Great. 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 Thank you so much. Great. Great. All right. Great. 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 All right. Now then, allow me to wrap this. I want us to go back to Wamchomba's question. Wamchomba's question. I want us to go back to Wamchomba's question Under Wamchomba's question, I want you to do me a favor. If you have written this and you know very well how to reference, you can still go back to Wamchomba's question. Wamchomba's question. Nyinyi mnasikia njaa, ndio vile mimi kama sasa mimi nilikula jana around 4 p.m. Na nafungua fast yangu 9 a.m. every day like that. So under Wamchomba's question, I want us to mention there amount payable in Kenya shillings, if money market strategy is used. As we finish, if money market strategy is used. Wamchomba's question, amount payable in Kenya shillings if money market strategy is used. Before I release you guys, if money market strategy, amount payable in Kenya shillings if money market strategy is used. This is now very, very easy. Very, very easy. Wamchomba's question, are you able to remind mwalimu interest rates? Hebu kumbusheni mwalimu interest rates oye. Kulikuwa na USA na kulikuwa na Kenya. Interest rates likuwaje? Yeah, before I draw, please remind mwalimu what the interest rates were. 8 to 12%. How about Kenya? Thank you very much. 18 to 28. And remember, this is a payable question. If it's a payable question, we are using FPBL. FPBL. Is that okay? FPBL, the second rule. Yeah, Kezai is telling us borrow local. Foreign payment, and the morning students write there, foreign payment, borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local. Then I can draw that table, isn't it? Now you can draw that table. We can draw that table. Oh, you never gave me, guys, you never gave me spot rate. Spot rate was 0.0112. 0.0112. $0.012 per Kenya shilling. Now let's draw our table. So remember, this is foreign payment, borrow local. Remember, Wamchomba has brought in a vehicle. She's required to pay. So it's a foreign payment. So if it's a foreign payment, we're saying borrow local. So borrow Kenya shillings. Borrow local, borrow Kenya shillings. And then we convert at what rate? Is there somebody who is able to remember? Do we convert at forward rate? In money market, do you use forward rates? In money markets, do you use future rates? No, today's rate. We shall not have any change in the spot rate. We shall always convert at spot. And then, of course, after conversion, we invest. So you've got two currencies. If we borrowed local, now we're going to invest foreign. You invest foreign, which is the US dollar. We invest foreign, which is the US dollar. So then borrow Kenya shillings. Are you able to see the borrowing rate? Remember, always the borrowing rate is the higher, ile kubwa. You're the borrowing. Hii hapa chini investing. Borrow and investing like that. So you are telling me, ladies and gentlemen, I like what this Maya guy is doing. So ameniambia mwalimu, final answer amenipatia. But remember, we are borrowing in Kenya, and the borrowing rate in Kenya is 28%. So 0.28 times, this was 3 months, 3/12 plus 1. plus 1. Thank you, then, Paul. Yeah. So can you kindly give me this answer first of all before I proceed? Oh, yeah. Can you kindly give me this answer before I proceed? With 0.28 times 3 over 12 plus 1 plus 1. Mary Modoni, ameniambia 1.07 like that. 1.07 like that. And then you come and invest the US dollar. So now we're investing the USD. Investing the USD, we have the investing rate is 0.08. So we have here 0.08 times 3 over 12 plus 1. Where are we getting this one from? The early morning students. Remember amount in a primary school. Principal into 1 plus R, something like that, 1 plus R. So this one is for compounding purposes, 1.02, like that, 1.02. Remember, this conversion, we are converting at spot rate, but we must know the role of the bank. But first of all, before I know the role of the bank, can you guys kindly tell me which one is the buying rate? Can you guys kindly tell me which one is the buying rate here? Buying rate. Yeah, these are higher. These are higher. Kenya shilling, not a higher, but Kenya shilling is on the right. So if Kenya shilling is on the right, the higher becomes buy. This one here becomes who? Sell. Buy and sell like that. And you're the ones who have told me that Mwalimu use this second rule. Mwalimu use this second rule. The second rule is foreign payment, borrow local. Foreign payment, borrow local, bank sells. Remember, this is the rule. Bank sells. And the selling rate is this one here. So bank sells at 0.011 dollars per Kenya shilling. So 0.011 dollars per Kenya shilling, dollars per Kenya shilling. All right. Now, after doing all those great things, now come and hide money. And remember, money shall always be hidden under the table. Pesa, unaficha pesa mbali. Please don't tempt us. Yeah, if you have a spouse around here, especially if you have a husband, ukiwa mama, lazima pesa yako unaficha mbali sana. Yeah, unaficha chini ya meza, siku unaficha mbali, unaficha pesa mbali sana. So ilikuwa ni 500,000 what here? US dollars. US dollars, right? 500,000 US dollars is what Wamchomba was needed to pay. So because there are 500,000 USD leg is here. So you put 500,000 here. US dollars. Alafu unaanza sasa ile lugha yetu up. Now you move this money up, across, down. When moving up, we shall always do what? Somebody remind me. When moving up, we shall always do what? Divide. Up, divide. So 500,000, divide this by 1.02. So this is up, you divide. Up, you divide. How much are we getting there, somebody? How much are we getting there, somebody, before we disappear? Somebody, before we disappear. Karoke money. 490, 196, 490, 196, 196. Thank you very much, Kezaya. She's telling me, Mwalimu, we shall write the currency, US dollars. Now from there, across now we are using the exchange rate. These are dollars, so across now. So across, we are using the exchange rate. These are dollars, divide. So 490, 196 divided by 0.011. How much do we have there? According to Maya, we have 445, 63, 272. Now these are who? Kenya shillings. These are who? Kenya shillings. These are who? Kenya shillings. Now the last one is downy. Down. So down, what are we doing? Down, moving from here now down. Is now down here. down. We multiply, isn't it? Multiply, yes. So pick then that 44 that you have, a whole number, don't use decimals. A whole number that you have there, 44, 56, 32, 32, 72, you multiply this with 1.07. You multiply this with 1.07. 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 How much are we getting? So we have here 47, 682, 682, 682, 702, 702, and just the body, right? 702. Kenya shillings, isn't it? Kenya shillings. Kenya shillings. And that's the final answer. That is the final answer. That is the final answer. Russia has gotten it. Yeah, 702 or 701, isn't it? 702, 701. You are children of the same mother. Same mother. All right. 47, 682, 701, 702. Why do you use 3/12? Thank you very much. It's because remember that this person was supposed to do what year? Was supposed to pay after 3 months. Wamchomba's question has got a time frame there, 3 months. 3 months. 2/12. 2/12 was my question. That's why I never wanted you to combine that information with this. 2/12 was my question, where Deng was to give me 100,000 in 2 months' time. But Wamchomba's case, if you read that question up there, Wamchomba's case was 3 months. Was 3 months. Wamchomba's case was 3 months. Is that okay, ladies and gentlemen? So then what we shall do